Apologize, we've been a few minutes late in closed session, but welcome. The meeting is now reconvened to open session. The board would like to remind the public that this meeting is being audio and video recorded. It is also available via live stream for the public through links found on the front page of the RUSD website. Trustee Hupp, will you please report out action taken in closed session?
Yes. So in closed session, the board voted to approve the appointment of Kylie Bray for the position of principal of Valley View Elementary School. And the board also voted to approve the appointment of Michael Pappas for the position of principal of Rocklin High School. Both votes were unanimous.
Thank you so much. We are so excited about those. Tonight we have Kylie Johnson from Victory High School as our student board representative. Kylie, will you please introduce the color guard and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the colors by Rocklin Unified School District's Junior ROTC Color Guard and Pledge of Allegiance. The commander and U.S. flag bearer for this evening's color guard is Cadet Captain Titan Owens. State flag is carried by Cadet Captain Sophia Burkhalter. Right guard is Colonel Caton Hove. Left guard is Cadet Major Kevin Laguna. And the alternate for tonight is Jade Plakinski.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you guys. Such a great job always. We'll move to item 5.1, our special recognition and presentation portion of the meeting. Chief Dosage, will you please introduce our Family Partners in Education recognition?
President Price, trustees, and Superintendent Stock. The Family Partners in Education program allows the Rocklin Unified School District to recognize family engagement and involvement to help our students achieve excellence during the school year. Cobblestone Elementary Principal Kathy Goddard is introducing the West family for tonight's Family Partners in Education recognition.
Good evening. This is such an honor. I am so excited about this recognition. So good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Stock. Tonight I am honored to recognize an extraordinary leader, Katie West, right there. Come on up, Katie. Katie is president of our PTC club, and in just 1 year, she has revitalized the PTC, making it a powerhouse of support for our students and staff. Under Katie's leadership, fundraising has flourished, providing essential resources such as free school shirts for all students, a new handwriting program for kindergartners, planners for upper grade students, and additional classroom supplies. Thanks to PTC's generosity, students have enjoyed enrichment programs like A Touch of Understanding, a drumming assembly, Sammy's Circuit, and a kindergarten garden. This is all in 1 year, okay? Free after-school reading and math clubs are also available, ensuring children have access to extra learning opportunities. And looking ahead, we're excited about the new brag tags students will be able to earn as they reach milestones in ST Math, celebrating their progress in a fun and rewarding way. But beyond academics, Katie has been instrumental to PTC's expansion of fun, family-friendly activities like movie nights, school dances, of which we just had 2 in the last month, and an upcoming used book sale, along with promoting additional enhancements such as school murals, classroom backpack hooks, and other campus beautification projects, again, in 1 year. There is no doubt that all these things have had a dramatic effect on our school community, but what stands out most for me is the ease in which Katie makes everyone feel valued, while keeping fun center stage. Katie's think big mentality, contagious enthusiasm, and inclusive leadership have transformed the PTC into a vibrant, unstoppable force, turning parents into enthusiastic partners in the school's success. And I'd like to point out the PTC board that we have here in support of Katie. But that is not all. You might think, well, that's a lot, but that is not all. Katie's leadership extends beyond our campus. She has established monthly meetups for all elementary PTC presidents, fostering collaboration.
And middle school and high school boosters.
See, think big. Another example of it. She keeps me on my toes. Fostering collaboration and idea sharing that benefits schools across the entire district. I would be remiss in failing to mention that the unwavering support from her family, husband Derek, daughter Natalie, and Natalie's grandparents, who are back there, yay, have been instrumental in these efforts. Together, they embody the belief that a strong, inclusive education system is the foundation of a thriving community. Katie, your dedication has made an incredible impact, and we are deeply grateful. On behalf of our students, staff, and families, thank you for dreaming big and having tons of fun while making it happen. Let's give Katie and her amazing family a well-deserved round of applause.
Hi, good recommendation, Principal Goddard. I was so excited when I saw your name. I have a little something for you from the board and district to thank you for everything that you do. I see how hard you work at this. Yes, never a day off, but it pays off. You've generated so much excitement on campus, and I think it's very telling that the rest of the board is here to support you tonight as well. I saw the garden yesterday. It looks amazing. So we're just so grateful for you. That was just wonderful what you said to really highlight everything that Katie's done.
Can I make one quick thing? Just saying thank you. A couple things. Is that okay? Could I say thank you to our entire board? Please stand up. I made a list because I'm going to forget people. John, Melissa, Cody, Eva, Yaruj, and Lauren, all of our families, all of our Cobblestone admin, all of our Cobblestone staff and teachers, our Cobblestone families, Shannon Aguilar, who is our jogathon extraordinaire, Kelly Rhodes, who's from Valley View, who literally helped me during this entire summer, coming into this following year, and all the Rocklin Unified PTC boosters and presidents who have we literally got together today. I mean, how many hours ago? So,
Thank you. This is from icing on the cupcake also. Just want to share that, a little gift card and treat so that you guys can all go out and celebrate your mom.
How does that sound, Natalie? Good? Yeah.
Chief Dosage, will you please also introduce our employee recognition tonight?
President Price, trustees, and Superintendent Stock. Tonight for our employee recognition, Springview Middle School Principal Daniel Lauer will join us in introducing Tobin George.
Good evening, Superintendent Stock, President Price, and members of the board. I want to take a moment to sincerely appreciate the work of Tobin George and what he does as a resource specialist at Springview Middle School for the past 23 years. Has the big fan club. Okay. His unwavering commitment to students in special education is truly commendable. Tobin consistently puts students at the center of everything he does, ensuring they receive the individualized support they need to succeed. Tobin's collaboration with teachers, parents, and administrators is invaluable in creating a comprehensive support system for each student. His organizational skills help keep everything running smoothly, allowing students and staff to benefit from his structured and thoughtful approach. And if you ever forget a pen, yes. Mr. George's ability to communicate effectively and work as a team player helps foster an environment where students can thrive. On top of all that, his sense of humor is something that both students and staff absolutely love. Whether he's sharing a quick-witted remark in a department meeting or tossing out a perfect one-timed liner during a casual stroll through the office, Tobin has a knack for bringing laughter to those around him, leaving just about everyone grinning. Tobin's ability to bring joy to those around him while maintaining a high level of professionalism makes him a truly special part of our team. Let's not forget that Tobin brings a box of snacks to each of his team meetings, which always puts a smile on his colleagues' faces. Beyond his dedication to students, Tobin is always willing to support colleagues, whether by assisting with the demanding assessments, even when he's overloaded with his own work, offering a helping hand before a meeting, or simply being a dependable resource for goal writing or curriculum. Tobin's generosity, teamwork, and positive attitude make a meaningful impact both on students and staff. Thank you for your hard work, dedication, and the difference you make every day. Congratulations.
This was amazing. How fun that you have such a fan club, and please count the board as part of your fan club. You just sound like such a valuable employee. I love that you are joyful and professional. Thank you so much for all you do, 23 years. That is definitely something to be proud of, and we appreciate you. This is for you as well as icing on the cupcake. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Some of them might have to get on their knees.
Thank you so much to the families and the fan club for coming tonight. Appreciate your support. You guys are welcome to stay. If you'd like to go, now's a great time to go as well. So. We will move to item 6.1 and welcome Vice President Elizabeth Salazar to give the CSEA report. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Travis said, oh, you're going to go after me. And I was like, cool. And now I'm not. So I'm just opening up my notes real quick. Sorry.
No problem.
Okay. Good evening, President Price, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Stock. It is my great pleasure to be here tonight. I would like to excuse President Hart at this time as she's on medical leave, and we hope that she has a quick recovery and that she's able to return and do this position, as it's a lot. And the spotlight is way too big for me right now. I'm usually the one that likes to be behind. That's why I work as a secretary at Quarry Trail, because I like to be behind the scenes. For those that don't know me, I am Elizabeth, or Liz Salazar, interim president, first vice president of CSEA chapter in Rocklin. I wanted to open up my comments tonight with a little bit about myself. Some of you may not know me, as I am not a born and raised Rocklin. I was born and raised in San Mateo, in the Bay Area. Bay Area, strong Bay Area pride. It's hard to take that out of my heart. But I've found in the last 7 years that Rocklin has grown into my heart, and I love this place. It has done great wonders. I have a senior graduating from Whitney High School and an 8th grader who will be going to high school. He's currently at Granite Oaks. And they love and have grown so much here in this district. As a first-generation child of immigrants, education has always been part of my life. My parents have always strived and made sure that we had great opportunities to learn and be able to build those things. They taught us how to be a strong family and service, and love service and serving others. I've been in education since 1996. I know my skin doesn't look like it. I thank my ancestors for that, but yes, I have been in the world of education for a very, very long time. I was in early childhood for over 20 years, and when I came up here in 2018, I decided to give RUSD a chance and became an instructional aide. And then I began to be a secretary at Quarry Trail when we opened, and I've been in the same seat ever since. Maybe switched sides, but have been there. And being the dual language program has been an amazing blessing, as I knew it would be. Now I have this opportunity to be in leadership as the first VP, and giving this opportunity to express love and service to my fellow CSEA members. And I think of our CSEA like a family, and how we're supposed to be able to take care of each other. We have technology that takes care of our computers. We have nutrition services that make sure we have hot food on the table for the kids. We have maintenance and operations that takes care of making sure the schools are open and they're warm or cold in the summer. We have the front office, the heartbeat, that not only worries about making sure that children come to school, but when they are not able to, they're able to have that education through independent study. They're the welcoming face. They're the ones that bring in the families when they're first moving into Rocklin and being in charge of the registration and all those processes. And then we have our true heart, which is our SPED aides, the ones that help our most fragile in our system. And they're there tirelessly working, and they are helping to be able to support not just Rocklin, but the students that mean the most to us in Rocklin. As I take on this role, that's the passion I want to put forward with CSEA. I know that we'll be able to serve the Rocklin Unified School District if we do it with love and that sense of family. I know that if we work together with the board, we'll be able to support our employees and our members so that they be able to actualize the motto of CSEA, which is to improve the lives of our members, students, and the community. that's just a little bit about me and my passion. We are excited to be working with the board and be able to look forward to negotiations coming up. We are growing. We're over 300 members, and we're getting stronger, and people are becoming active. And so we're excited that this family of CSEA is growing stronger. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you so much. They're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
We are too. Thank you. Okay, next we have President Travis Moget to give the RTPA report.
Good evening, everyone. Do you all remember, let's go on a little journey real quick. Do you all remember middle school? Everybody's, like, middle school's supposed to be weird and a little awkward, right? But they forget to tell you that, like, it has all the fun that we just saw with that middle school staff here. So kudos to Springview and our middle school people, but it is a weird place in life. It is a weird place as a career, but I'm starting to think that it might be a hidden little secret, actually. So anyway, well done. Awesome to see all the recognition. Like I said, I joke about having to go after all the positivity because the room clears and I'm up here and it's like the 6 of us. But either way. I'm going to ask you guys a lot of questions. Hopefully we get some answers tonight. If there are questions that can't be answered tonight, then hopefully soon in the near future. After last board meeting, there were comments from the board. Trustee Sadoff, you and I had some dialogue that left a lot of questions with membership. So I'm going to just kind of relay those questions back to you guys. Also some questions and some dialogue with Superintendent Stock during our time last meeting. Again, so I'm just going to ask those questions. If they can be answered tonight, I appreciate it. If not, then we'll just look for those answers in the near future. The big two. The first one was there was dialogue with Superintendent Stock about support positions and what's been cut or what's not been cut, and so that left some confusion out there. So I'm hoping we can get some clarification, specifically around areas of math supports, both at the elementary and middle school levels. Were kind of the ones that most of the questions that have come to me since then. Additionally, just in the last couple days, questions that kind of stemmed from those supports being cut is that what's the impact at the high school level going to be? Because those are obviously feeder elements to students not having additional supports in math, and elementary and middle school has an impact on math performances in high school. So high schools haven't been under the same model, but they do have extra supports whether it's an everyday math class or students don't need an everyday math class because they've had those supports in a middle school level. Like, well, how does that impact if those cuts are or not happening? What's kind of the plan for that? So again, it's kind of a big question, just looking for some clarity on what is or isn't being cut or reduced or changed for next year, if that can be answered tonight. And then the other one is around some dialogue Trustee Sadoff and I had around bargaining. Trustee Sadoff, you made the comment that I was surprised by to hear, and our membership was definitely surprised by, my bargaining team as well, that before the settlement for the 24-25 school year, the board had authorized multiple kind of offer options for the district bargaining team to bring into that room, into that process. They included one-time money and ongoing money, and I think the third option in there was like a blend of the two. It was surprising to hear it that evening. But more so, and kind of where my questions tonight come from, it was disappointing to hear that the comments and the information that you shared at that meeting were true and accurate, that the board did authorize multiple options. And the reason I say it was disappointing is because those options didn't come into the bargaining room to be discussed as part of our bargaining process. Like I shared with you guys at that meeting, the only offer or offers that we discussed at all were exclusive to one-time money, and that was it. It was made very clear that ongoing money, which I shared with you last time, would have been a very prioritized interest for our membership. So to hear that, and then credit to the district's bargaining team, we met with them last week, and they walked us through that journey of what options the board had authorized, but they also shared with us that they chose not to bring all of those options into the bargaining room. The reason I say that's disappointing is I and RTPA and our membership have put a lot of faith into this collaborative, fair share, kind of working together bargaining process. So to hear that there were options that were authorized by the board, meaning they should have at least been considered, at least in our interpretation, that were chosen by other people to not even come into the room, and other people, I mean the district bargaining team, that's just disappointing, right? I've had members ask questions like, well, is the district bargaining in good faith then? Or are they just bargaining how they want to bargain and kind of doing what they want to do under the light of collaboration and fair share? So membership, and I don't have that answer to membership. I've tried to answer that with the information we have gotten from our bargaining team and from your bargaining team, but there's still a lot of questions out there, and I'm sure there's going to continue to be more. But questions after that, without us being able to fully answer that question, is how do we trust the bargaining process? Why are we bargaining in this collaborative, more vulnerable way when it sounds like the district doesn't really share that same interest? Where's the trust in that, right? Where's the trust in what we thought was we put all the options on the table and the two teams work together to find the best compromise that, right, has the best options for the district's interest and health financially, for the membership's health and interest financially, and then everything in between, the impacts that those decisions, 1, 2, 3, or 4, or whatever they are, have on the big picture. It's disappointing to think that decision was made by the district's team because they don't trust or think that RTPA would have the district's, and I mean Rocklin Unified, the district's interest at the top of their priority list as much as the members' interest, meaning why would we explore an option that would put the district at jeopardy if that's a reason we're not putting all the options on the table? I don't think our bargaining team is blind to the idea that there are good options and there are bad options. But the part where they become terrible options is when they're not even on the table for discussion, right? So why aren't we looking at it together under this idea of collaboration? Because otherwise, we're really just talking about positional bargaining. So one of my questions to the board and to the district team is, does the board seek a positional bargaining process again? We've all been there. You guys were around, some of you as board members, some of you as community members, during the rougher years of bargaining. And it wasn't fun for anybody. It wasn't efficient. It wasn't practical. But if that's where we need to go to make sure that we're at least doing things to the full fidelity of the process, then that's where we need to go. So I hope that's not, but that's a question I have, and I'm not asking rhetorically, actually. With that said, our membership has asked some bigger questions, is whatever version of bargaining we do or use moving forward, how can we trust the district bargaining team with anything that comes into the room, whether it's money related, it's contract language related, it's student related? Are they just bringing in interest that they have, or are they actually bringing an interest that we jointly have in that interest-based kind of mindset? Additionally with that, membership has asked, is there an opportunity or an interest to reopen the bargain and the contract we just closed so we can actually vet the options that the board authorized and look at what would be the best option, whether we settle on the same thing or something different or something in between? That would be a question that membership's waiting to answer. Another one I've had members ask is, if the district's not bargaining in good faith, should we be filing an unfair labor practice against Rocklin Unified? I hope not. I don't want to. But as we know, that's something that is a tool that we have if we need to use it. So again, I'm going to leave you with some general questions, and I'll summarize them. Is there an interest from the district or the board to look at reopening and vetting all the options and working collaboratively to find a resolution to the existing year and the contract that we just closed? Does the board or district really have an interest in moving back to positional bargaining because the current behavior is exactly positional bargaining? It's just being done under this umbrella of vulnerability of labor management and fair share. And then lastly, is there a desire to do things the hard way if that's the best way for our membership and our students to get the best out of the process? I'm hoping the last one is a no, but I'm asking you so you can answer for yourselves, again, tonight or in the future. And then again, just to clarify, still hoping to get some answers on the support programs on the math topic.
Thank you.
Yep.
Superintendent Stock, do you want to address the support positions?
Yeah, what I can share is, and I was going to during my time for remarks, but I'm happy to share a general clarification statement that I think is appropriate first, and I'll just, and this is the same statement that I shared with you last week as well, that at the March 5th board meeting, I was asked if there were cuts to intervention programs at schools, and I replied that these programs were not being cut. And I'm aware that that comment has raised questions. And so in clarification of that statement from last board meeting, what I'd share is I have not made any recommendations to the board that there be budget cuts to these programs. The millions of dollars of one-time state and federal funding for COVID recovery that funded all these programs ended, and I think we're aware of that. Therefore, we had to reevaluate these support services, and based on that evaluation, I did recommend to the board that the district allocate approximately $1.4 million of ongoing dollars from the district's general fund to continue a reduced amount of these services next school year. And that is greater than the intervention services prior to the COVID pandemic, because we know there are needs. Additionally, the district worked to be very intentional in how we manage the ending of these one-time state and federal funds, and was able to do so in a way that did not require any layoffs of our USD staff. We do know that there were some temporary positions that remained temporary, but we did work to manage these the best we could. So wanted to clarify that this, we acknowledge there's reduced services, but we've also asked the board to commit ongoing funds to continue to support beyond the COVID level that we had. Specifics into what those reductions are, I don't have a list in front of me of what exactly was reduced, what wasn't. I do know in general that we reduced intervention teachers at sites, and we reduced some other support services, and we've kept other services. We can provide a list of that, as you mentioned. Love some answers now, would love some answers in the future. Happy to provide that as well as we went down. And again, we with the ending of those state and federal funds, it caused us to reevaluate.
Yeah, I just, if is it okay if I? Okay. Yeah, just as soon as we can get something that gives more of the specifics. I mean, the giant celebration in the room with Springview Middle School, who's asked a lot, like, oh, so we're not losing our math person. And I'm gonna be told, I'm not asking you to answer the specifics right now, but I don't know that what was just shared actually gave them that answer. So,
well, what I can share is that we acknowledge there's a reduction in the services that will be provided because of the state and federal funding eliminated. And we had to take that into account as we prepared preliminary notifications and things, March 15th notices as they're commonly referred to. And so we've been working with principals related to that, and we'll be happy to provide additional information. I just don't have all the specifics here, so.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your frustration. I hear you. I think that I wish Tony was here. I know that, I assume that you shared all of that with them. That's the appropriate place for that conversation. We can't discuss, of course, as you know, negotiations, but we will take what you've said under advisement. Regarding trust, you know, the last 5 years, we've put a lot of drops in a big bucket of trust. And what I would suggest and hope is that we remember, all of us, all of our teachers and staff and families and district office and negotiators, everyone that cares about Rocklin students, that we keep that bucket of trust as full as possible. It doesn't need to be dumped out. And we remember the things that we have in common, and we put our efforts towards that vision. That's what I'd ask.
I agree. I don't want to dump it out.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I'm not the one that tipped it. So, and I think that's where members are feeling right now. I'm just trying to relay that to you guys. I think you're hearing it, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
All right, item 7.1, now to comments from our student board representative. Kylie, will you please share your report?
At Corey Trail, we're currently honoring neurodiversity celebrations with an education assembly and various awareness activities throughout campus. We're looking forward to the spring parade on March 24th, in which our primary students welcome the arrival of spring. Go Broncos! Sunset Ranch has their spring book fair happening this week, beginning March 17th through the 20th, and had a family night on Tuesday the 18th. The night they had food trucks and fun from 5 to 7 p.m. April 25th is their annual family picnic, and April 29th will be our Coyote Skate Night at Roller King. Over at Valley View, our families enjoyed the PTC-sponsored Family Glow Dance last Friday night, and this is an outreach of activity to continue building a positive school community. This week we have a science assembly to argument our science instructions and specialized lab. It's focused in forces and motions and is applicable for TK through 6th grades. We also have a local author joining us for the month of March to encourage both creative writing and reading. The author is a former Rocklin USD teacher, Mary Boyle. The 5th graders at Breen held their annual Breen Amusement Park, where the 5th graders showcased their skills applying concepts of gravity to build paper roller coasters. The entire school community was invited to come marvel their accomplishments and enjoy the varied themes as they raced marbles down the tracks. The kindergarten students are learning about 2- and 3-dimensional shapes using adjectives to describe them. They're also writing in their journals about what they love about spring, and will be writing about how they show honesty, which is our character trait of the month. We're also welcoming the spring season with fun St. Patrick's Day books and activities. It is also amazing to see the growth in phonics and phonemic awareness of Hegarty and UFLI. The ILS class at Breen went on their monthly community-based instruction to the local grocery store. The students helped create a shopping list for their cooking activities, looked for ingredients in the store, and practiced paying for their groceries. The students also got to practice being safe and communication skills while out in the community. Over at Springview on Friday, March 14th, we held our biggest fundraiser of the year, the Fun Run. While the weather didn't cooperate for outdoor running, we quickly pivoted to an exciting dance-a-thon indoors. Thanks to incredible efforts of our PTC and the generosity of our community, we raised over $41,000, bringing us closer to our $45,000 goal. Meanwhile, our kindergarten and 1st grade students are loving their music and movement class across campus. One of the most anticipated activities in VAPA has been working with clay, a favorite among all grade levels. This week we are hosting a parent-teacher conferences, offering a valuable opportunity for families to connect with teachers and discuss student progress. Looking ahead, our 1st and 2nd graders are eagerly preparing for their upcoming trip to the zoo next week, where they'll explore and learn about a variety of animals. With the arrival of warmer weather, we are also excited to welcome back Snowy King for a refreshing treat. And last but not least, from our Rocklin Alternative Education Center, Victory High School's ASB Club, led by Ms. Kingery, continues to provide weekly student-based activities as well as campus-wide themed decorations and treats. Additionally, we would like to thank all of our members of the community who came out on Friday, March 14th to support our annual blood drive. Thanks to your generosity of time and courage, we exceeded our donation goal and received enough blood to save over 80 lives. Thank you.
Great things happening. Thank you so much for your report. What are your plans after graduation?
I want to go into cosmetology school.
Awesome. That will be great. We are excited for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Any comments from the board and superintendent trustees? Do you have board comments that you would like to share tonight?
I will say it was an amazing performance at the mega concert yesterday. It was both junior highs, Whitney and Rocklin, in the Rocklin gym. Amazing to see all the kids performing together. Just a great show. I will also say that, again, after going to that one, there are a handful of concerts, dance shows, choir events, musicals, all happening through April and May. So if you are just watching NC2A basketball and waiting for baseball to not be rained out, there's plenty of other events going on in our schools. So please enjoy.
I was able to go to the Whitney High School leadership fundraiser. It's a Kentucky Derby themed, and it was unique considering typical events like that, in that the students really ran it all. They worked so hard. They were there, had everything organized. They were, bringing supplies around and checking in and communicating with each other really well, and it just was such a fun event. It looked like everyone had a great time. Everyone had really interesting costumes and hats on, but I was just really impressed by everything that they did, and I look forward to attending more of the events that are coming up this spring. If there's anything you think I should know about, please send me an email. I love to go to these things. Thanks.
I thought it was just so sweet to see a full room celebrating both our parent award recipient and our staff award recipient. I just thought it was so sweet to see a room cheering together, and you could feel the sense of family here. And so it was beautiful to get to look into that and be a small piece of that tonight. And I would just say this week I have seen that philosophy, that family feel really come to fruition even more. This Friday is Down Syndrome Awareness Day. And I have to say there has just been some phenomenal things that some of our students, our champions in our district, and their families are doing out in the community this week. I know I got to meet with some families to talk a little bit about some of the incredible things that they're doing and the way that our community continues to give incredible opportunity. And so I just wanted to highlight this Friday, it sounds like all the local Leatherbees are all helping sponsor a special just night for families to come out and everybody to be included and just be together and enjoy the evening together. And then I just wanted to do a shout out. There's an organization that is serving some of our families in our district called Gigi's Playhouse, and they have a Gigi Fit Run. It's actually in May, but they've started the challenge now. And I just think it's an incredible opportunity where our community, again, comes together to show support and to champion on, to make sure every child in our district is championed on in their ability, and then the incredible ways that they contribute, not only to our community, but society as a whole. And so I just wanted to do a quick shout out because I just was so impressed as I went and toured their facility, and I got to hear from some of our students and their families of just how appreciative they are of not only that nonprofit, but also the work of our staff here to really include them in activities that are important to them. So thank you very much for that.
I just wanted to share that last week met with some local school board members. The California School Board Association has a legislative week and gives us opportunities to meet with our local representatives. So we had a good meeting with our Assemblyman Joe Patterson, went through some bills that we have coming up, and reiterated our positions, what's best for schools and kids and students and families, and it was a really good meeting. I'm grateful that we have Joe here locally. I'm sorry, Assemblyman Patterson, I will be more formal, but to me he's Joe, but I'll be formal. Also was able to attend Whitney High School's musical. Oh my goodness, those kids are talented. I just wanted to stand up and dance. It was Mamma Mia. It was so fun. So it was just awesome to see, and a good crowd that it just was full, and it was great. And then I also was at the mega concert last night, 250 musicians. It was unreal. And so to have, it was really great also to see our high school teachers so appreciative of those middle school families that are, just starting to bring these kids in and really keep music as a focus. And I know that will be just a blessing for them for the rest of their life. So that was a great event. I'm grateful for those that worked hard to put that together. Superintendent Stock, do you have any comments?
I do. Kind of continuing on, just again, amazing things our kids doing in our district. Last week, the Placer County Spelling Bee was held, and I am thrilled to share that this year, Granite Oaks 7th grade student Stella Miner, Wiley Miner, earned the title of champion in the junior high division, and she will be advancing to the state Spelling Bee on April 26th. We also had students from Sierra, Springview, and Granite Oaks finish very high and very strong, but we're very excited to and we wish Stella the best of luck, and we're looking forward to updating you and how she does at the state competition. And I also love this time of year that next week, if you see a school bus pull up at your school on Thursday, it is our day where we do our annual employee recognition for Employees of the Year. We think we have about 10 categories. Appreciate our Human Resources Department for organizing it. Cabinet, our labor partner, presidents, boards, all invited to be a part of that. So Thursday, we're excited. So if you see a bus pull up and a bunch of people come out, it might be you. And so, but we just love to honor our colleagues for their great work. And then I also just wanted to also just address some of the comments made earlier tonight that, you know, I do acknowledge that our labor management collaboration is in a rough patch, and that like any relationship that occurs, and we are genuinely committed to working through this and use this as a chance to learn and grow in the work together, and we really truly hope that we can continue to go down that path and again learn, grow, and figure out the next steps forward. And with that, I also make the shameless plug that we are continually accepting enrollment 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at our website for all schools.
Thank you so much. All right, we will now move to item 8.1, the consent calendar, and it looks like we have a public comment on item 8.8. So, Dara Warner, are you still here? Okay, perfect. Dara, if you could restate your name, the city you live, and the schools your children attend, and you'll have 2 minutes to address the board. And we're not permitted to deliberate or take action, but go ahead. Thank you.
Hi, Dara Warner. I'm a parent of a Whitney High. Is it good?
Good, yeah.
It's good. Whitney High School student, and I live in Rocklin. So good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Stock. Good to see you again. I currently serve on the Board of Directors for the Rocklin swim team. So we're asking that, it looks like you guys are doing repaving maybe this summer, and it's going to cover all of Whitney from the map I looked at. I don't know if it's going over at Rocklin High School. I couldn't see a map of that, but if we could get advance notice, like a timeline, because we support the recreational swim team along with swim lessons, and now we're doing open swim for the city, and we want to give as much notice to our parents when they're dropping off their kids, because we have kids that are being dropped off younger than the age of 6. So if there's any kind of timeline that they could communicate with us while you guys are doing repaving.
Sure.
So that's it.
I'll just have Mr. Rouse talk to you outside maybe for just a couple minutes. He's our Director of Facilities. He can help you with that.
Great.
Thank you. All right, item 8.1, all matters listed under the consent calendar are to be considered routine and will be enacted by one motion followed by a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the Board of Trustees or staff request specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action. Any items removed will be voted upon following the motion to approve the consent calendar. Does any trustee wish to remove an item from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
First by Trustee Counter, second by Trustee Hepp. Georgia, will you please call the roll?
Kylie Johnson,
Yes.
Tiffany Sadoff,
Yes.
Derek Counter,
Yes.
Julie Hupp,
Yes.
Michelle Sutherland,
Yes.
Rochelle Price.
Yes. Thank you. Motion passes. Item 9.1, we'll now invite Jennifer Stahlheber, Deputy Superintendent of Business and Operations, to join us for the second interim report and budget revisions.
Good evening, President Price, board members, Superintendent Stock. Tonight, we are here to review our second interim budget report and discuss changes since first interim. The second interim report looks at the district's financial condition as of January 31st. We'll start off with our revenues. So this details our revenue changes from first interim to second interim. Overall, our total revenues have increased by $2.4 million. This change is a result of a combination of adjustments across various funding sources. Our LCFF funding sources increased by $18,028. This is a result of revising our average daily attendance rate from a 95.66 down to a 95.6, but we also had an increase in duplicated pupil percentage, which increased our supplemental funds. And so the overall effect was the $18,028 difference. Our federal revenue increased by $2,221. There was some adjustments to our federal IDEA and our Title I programs that resulted in this small minor adjustment. Other state revenue decreased by $96,508. This was mainly due to adjustments in our special education early intervention preschool grant. The apportionment came in lower than we had projected. Our other local revenue increased significantly by over $2.5 million, and that is largely due to the budgeting of some grants that were awarded for electric buses, which is, we've replaced 8 buses already and are on the road to replacing 8 more, and we'll have spent less than $1 million out of pocket by the district. So they've done a really phenomenal job in securing grants for those buses. And so you'll see a corresponding increase in our expenditures as well for the purchase of those buses.
Just real quick on the federal revenue, is that total federal revenue, or is there any other federal revenue that's included in LCFF sources or anything else?
That's total federal.
Okay, it's like 2% ballpark, if I can do quick math. Okay.
It is 2.12. You must work in finance. So this reflects the breakdown of those revenues. And so our local control funding formula, the LCFF source, make up the majority of our revenue at 77. And that is comprised of 3 different funding streams. So we have our Education Protection Act, EPA funds, those were the Prop 30, and then extended with Prop 55 funds. We have property taxes, and then the remaining funds come from state aid. So when we do that calculation, it comes up with a number, and then those amounts come out, and the difference left is what the state provides as state aid. Our other state revenue contributes about 10.59 in our current budget. Other local sources account for 10.21, and as you said, federal is very small, 2.12. And then other sources uses account. So this is a look at our expenditures. Our total expenditures increased 4.29. As we just discussed, a lot of this is related to the increase in capital outlay related to the budgeting for those buses. Our total certificated salaries increased 1.4 and classified 190,000. We saw a decrease in our benefits, and this was related to a one-time salary adjustment of 3%, and then savings due to vacancies, sub costs, and other overtime. We saw some adjustments between our books and supplies and services and operating. Most of those were reallocations from the one category to another, and then some increases due to donations and grant funds coming in. Our capital outlay, that's where you can see the large increase related to the buses. And then we had a small minor adjustment in our other outgo. And this represents our expenditures, and you can see that the largest portion of our total expenditures come out of certificated salaries. And so if you were to look at overall salaries and benefits throughout the district, unrestricted and restricted, 84.44 of the budget, or 81.486. 84.44 was an adopted budget, but when we increase that capital outlay, it ends up lowering the amount that's attributable to salaries and benefits. So if you looked at just our base salaries, it's over 89% of our unrestricted funds are used for salary and benefits. So it's a significant portion. You can see the remaining funds that go to services and operating, books and supplies. Utilities are included with our services and operating. So when you see that being one of our next largest categories, utilities is a large part of that. So general fund summary, differences between first interim and second interim. You can see with the increase in expenditures, it outpaced the increase to revenues. And so you'll see that our estimated ending fund balance is lower than we projected at first interim. Again, a bulk of that is due to the one-time off-salary schedule increase of 3%. There are below are components of ending fund balance, and on the next slide, we're going to go into the details of that, but you can see the biggest changes in our committed fund balance. And so some of those commitments are our textbooks. We look at this over multiple years, and in second interim, we updated to account for any materials, supplies, software related to instructional materials, and any textbook adoptions through 2930. So there was a slight increase to that category. Discretionary donation and student funds, we also saw a little bit of a decrease, and that's where we're budgeting it into an expenditure account. It's not sitting in that unrestricted fund balance. Our technology and our one-to-one device refresh stayed flat, and that's just projecting for future outlays of expenditures that do not have a dedicated funding stream. Our attendance mitigation is because we're always trying to get back to our pre-pandemic level of 96.5. Currently, we're tracking at 95.6, and so the difference between those two for the revenues that they produce, we have a commitment in our fund balance as we strive to get back to that. Excuse me. You'll see that the increase due to special ed bill back is now 0, and that's because we've now added it in our MYP, and we don't want to count that twice. Our facility use and repair, those are funds that we keep in the unrestricted that come in for facility use, and that those funds are set aside for future repairs. We have our deficit spending mitigation, and at first interim, we had projected in the unrestricted side some significant deficits in the out years. As we worked through the budget, and our new director was in here, and we really worked with our team to approach how we look at our multi-year. Instead of looking at it at a fund level, which is really the big picture, we went down to the resource level, which are all of the different tiny buckets of funding streams that come in, and we did the MYP at that level. As we did that work, we discovered that carryover that comes in from a prior year and comes into the current year was being left in the budget when we were doing our assumptions in the 2 out years. And so when we were adding in inflation and we were adding in other costs, it was being added beyond our normal budget. It was also being added to carryover. So when we really looked at that level, it gave us the opportunity to pull that out in the out years, which lowered our projected deficits in those out years. And so this commitment is where we're saying we have some deficits, and we're gonna commit some fund balance to make sure we can cover that in those years. And you can see it made a significant difference compared to first interim. And that really is the bulk of the change you see when you look at our committed funds that were on that previous slide. You can see at first interim, we were at 16.8, and at second, we're sitting at 11.5. And then these are our assignments. These are small unrestricted funds that we have fund balance that carries over, and the changes in the Medi-Cal was just budgeting some of that fund balance for expenditures. And here's our MYP, and if we were comparing it to first interim, you would see that our expenditures estimates are lower than they had been, and that was, again, a result of us really doing that deep dive and looking at things at a much smaller level and projecting out. We are showing much smaller deficits, and the bulk of the deficits are in there are restricted funds. And so we have funds that we receive in 1 year, but we don't necessarily spend it until another year. And so that automatically will look like a deficit. And there's some of those are the one-time funds, the art and music instructional material block grant, and some of it are the learning recovery emergency block grant. We currently are projecting to spend most of it in the current year, but there will be some that goes over into next year that we will also spend. There are other funds, though, where we have built a fund balance that we will be spending in those future years as well. Anything else of significance? You can see we have our required 3% reserve, and even after our commitments and our assigned funds, we still have a really significant unassigned balance. We are very healthy, and right now we're projected at 13.15 for the current year, and we're over 13% in both out years, even with small deficits and unrestricted. So these are other funds such as cafeteria, which we're seeing surpluses with universal meals. We've seen our reimbursement rates increase. We're serving 2 meals a day every student, and we get to claim that income. And as we purchase and make enhancements to our kitchen so that we can do more local foods, more freshly prepared foods, we may see that start to even out a little bit more, but right now we're still bringing in more revenue than expenditures in that category. The remaining funds, a lot of those have to do with capital facility improvements. We have a deferred maintenance fund that the state used to provide funds for on an annual basis. They no longer do, but we do have a fund balance that receives interest earnings, and then we use those for deferred maintenance projects. Fund 25, 35, 40, and 49 and 52 are all capital project-related funds. So some of those are related to developer fees, Fund 25. Fund 35 is our county school facilities funds, which when we build a school and we have eligibility for reimbursements from the state, those funds are required to be deposited into that fund. And so we must have had a little bit of activity, which I believe were some interest earnings, because last year we still had some funds in there that were then transferred to our Fund 49 for our capital project. So I believe that's just a little bit of interest earnings that hit there. Fund 40 is our special reserve for capital outlay, and you can see that we show a net budget activity. That's a really big number, and that's because we've budgeted for those projects, that large facility capital improvement program that the board approved last year in the spring. You've been approving contracts, and so those items are budgeted now, and that's represented in that category. Also as well in Fund 49. We have in Fund 52 is where we pay the debt service for those community facility district funds. And then the last one is OPEB, which we now have in a trust, so we have a very small balance that's still sitting in the district's accounts. And so our certification, we are going to have a positive certification, which is great news because a lot of districts in the state right now are, facing some very challenging times with declining enrollment and with the calculation for your LCFF. Some districts, even though we have a small COLA, won't actually see new revenues because of the declining enrollment and the loss of those one-time dollars. And so we've seen some increases in districts that aren't being positively certified. And so it's really good news that we're very healthy and we have a positive certification. And so next steps, we're gonna, maintain our reserve and continue to monitor all of our costs. We're gonna look forward to the May revise, which will be released on May 14th. And then we're gonna attend the May revise workshop presented by School Services of California, which are like the experts in school finance in the state of California. And we attend that on May 21st. And then of course we monitor our one-time funds. Oh, I thought I had an any questions slide. I don't. Any questions?
Thank you. Any board comments or questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Trustees, we're going to request that you take action on this.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve the second interim report and budget revisions?
So moved. Second.
First by Trustee Sutherland, second by Trustee Hepp. Georgia, will you please call the roll?
Kylie Johnson,
Yes.
Tiffany Sadoff,
Yes.
Derek Counter,
Yes.
Julie Hupp,
Yes.
Michelle Sutherland,
Yes.
Rochelle Price.
Yes. Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, we now invite Marty Flowers. You're here. You're ready to go to give us information at the Rocklin Unified School District World Language Pilot and Adoption Recommendation for Spanish 3. Welcome.
President Price, Trustee, Superintendent Stock, I come before you this evening with an information item on Spanish 3. It's going to look very similar as a year and a half ago you approved Spanish 1 and 2. So just a quick overview on the curriculum adoption process, on the committee work and recommendation, on the public review process, and then next steps. Once again, starting to the left in the light green, state of California comes out, and it says here, typically it's every 6 to 8 years. However, times have changed a little bit, and that might be a little extended. From that, once they come out with the frameworks, publishers then take that and build their curriculum. And then, as you can see there, a short explanation, the State Board of Education adopts K-8 curriculum. However, for grades 9 through 12, the LEA is responsible for going through that process. And then the final one, the dark green on the right, school districts follow this. This is where I want to give a shout out to program specialist Amanda Bannister. She has done this a number of times, and she is extremely organized and just does an amazing job. So I just want to give her a shout out and appreciate her work. As far as the timeline, you can see this is an extended timeline because once again, we included this because it really is a continuation. You can see there just to the left of the middle, the board approved levels 1 and 2 in November of 2023. It took this company a little bit longer to get level 3 done, but they did complete that, so we started that process. And again, I'm here before you this evening with an information item. I'll be back in a meeting in May asking the board to take action on that. As far as the scope of work, it is rather extensive. 1 day of training just on the frameworks and the standards alone to make sure that they all understand that, and then 2 days specifically on the curriculum. In this case, we didn't look at other curriculum because we had already adopted levels 1 and 2, so the focus was on VOCES, I think I pronounced that correctly. We went through the piloting, and Trustee Counter, correct me, I'm not sure. Some tell me Vossas, some say Vosas. So.
No, I was just waiting for the whole conversation to be in Spanish.
Yeah, it's not going to happen tonight. My friend Dr. McDonald may have to come up and help me with that. So the piloting is taking place. Again, we will collect feedback along with student feedback. And then once again, per board policy 6161.1, our parents were involved in that process. Once again, the recommendation coming before you would be for the level 3 VASAs. And again, just in the smaller, the bottom left-hand corner, Spanish 1 and 2 were approved in 2023-24. As far as the public review process by EdCode, we're required to do this for a minimum of 30 days. Each district shall promote this, and we will be sending out an email to make sure parents know this. And then really, I got to compliment the board. A couple years back, they made the recommendation that we make this available via the use of computers. In the old days, parents would have to come in here and go through page by page. Now that's all done digitally. And once again, I appreciate the work of our program specialists. Here we have a web page that's set up, that is up and running. Once again, that second bullet, parents will receive an email tomorrow to make sure they're aware of this, and they can go in there and look at have digital access to all the curriculum, and then they can ask questions and such. With that, our next steps, I'll be coming back in the board meeting in May, asking for the board to take action on this approval. If this recommendation is approved in May, we will order the curriculum, make sure it's here and delivered to the sites, ready to go. We will provide professional development for all those teachers teaching Spanish 3, and then we'll provide ongoing support for the implementation at the sites. So I'm available for any questions.
Thank you so much. On the email to the parents, fantastic. Is that sent to all parents?
That is sent to high school parents.
Okay.
High school parents.
Perfect.
And once again, yeah, we do. Even though as kids go through, we would love for them to complete the whole pathway. Some kids choose to bow out after level 2, but hopefully we'll get this information. But we want to make it available for all of them to know.
Perfect. Thank you. Any additional comments or questions?
Just real quick, and again, great presentation. Maybe next time in Spanish, but joking. With Spanish 3, how does this impact Spanish 4 and AP Spanish? Are the texts the same, or is it a...
Actually, it takes the classes a little bit longer to get through these, so this will be the last one in this. I don't believe that either site we're offering AP Spanish this year.
Okay.
I can check on that and get back to you. But these 3 books will take them all the way through Spanish 4 if they continue through that pathway.
Cool. Good job.
Thank you so much, Mr. Flowers. All right, item 11.1, public comment. We want to remind everyone that this agenda item is to give anyone in the attendance an opportunity to address the board on a non-agenda item within the jurisdiction of the school district. The board is not permitted to deliberate or take action on non-agenda items, but may refer the matter to a staff member for follow-up. I will call on your name to step up to the podium and let you know who's on deck. When you approach the podium, please state your name, the city you live, and the schools that your children attend. You will have 2 minutes to address the board. Okay, first we have Brett Hunter. And on deck we have Lauren Stanton. Hi.
Good evening, everybody. I have kids at Sierra, one at almost Springview next year and one at Whitney. I'm the construction teacher, BITA, Building Industry Technology Academy. We really foster the trades of trying to build our students out to be successful anywhere in the building industry. And one of the big things that we focus on that we've instilled in our program is service learning. And we really push the students' boundaries to try to find projects that they could help their community, their school become a better place, which makes Rocklin such an amazing place to be. And the students are allowed to choose what they pursue to desire. And one of those students is here tonight who is going to present just a brief overlay of this project. Lauren Stanton, who has just recently been accepted to the architectural engineering program at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And she's just going to give you a brief overlay of a project that she has taken on with not just her, but many of other members in our aquatics program. We have students in the BITA program who are, whether it be swimmers or water polo players, and they really have a passion for it. and they follow that, and they really pursue those boundaries, and that's a big encouraging thing. And so I'm here to support her tonight to give you a brief rundown of what her goal and dream is for the aquatics program.
Thank you, Brett. Okay, Lauren. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Lauren Stanton, and I'm a current athlete for both swim and water polo, and a fourth-year BITA student at Whitney High School. This year, we have a big problem with our aquatic center. Our scoreboard, which was installed when the school first opened in 2005, is unusable this season because the computer console that operates it is broken. Because both the scoreboard and its console are so out of date, according to the manufacturer, they are no longer serviceable products. This means that in the scoreboard's current inoperable condition, our only option to be able to have a working scoreboard is to purchase a new one, which we estimate will cost $88,500 for the same model as Rocklin High School. Not having a usable scoreboard is a big hit to our school and the Rocklin community, as it is used for Whitney water polo games and tournaments, Whitney swim meets, and for club aquatic events. As a current senior on the swim and polo teams, it has been hard not having a functional scoreboard for my last seasons here at Whitney. Whitney High School Aquatics has seen great successes in the past year due to the hard work of our athletes, with our boys and girls polo teams both making sections this fall. And last spring, our swim program had multiple athletes make sections, and some of our aspiring collegiate athletes were even state champions. During water polo season, not having a functional scoreboard has left athlete volunteers struggling to learn how to use rented scoring systems during games, and during swim season, it has impaired our athletes' ability to see their times after their races. This is why our team of student athletes and parents has decided to take this project on and do something about it. In addition to the steps already mentioned by Mr. Hunter, the Whitney Aquatics program is currently fundraising and seeking sponsorships so we can obtain a new scoreboard for our program and all of the athletes who rely on its use. During this process, we've secured donations from within our local community, with our biggest single contribution so far being a sponsorship from Nugget Market worth $10,000. I and the other athletes are excited to get this project going so we can resolve this problem. As this moves forward, we are seeking ideas and support, and we plan on sharing the project folder we've been creating with the district for further review. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to discussing this endeavor at a later date.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on the top
Shannon, is it Tinkler? Okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Shannon Tinkler, and I am a parent of 3 children here in the Rocklin Unified School District, 2 at Whitney High School, 1 at Granite Oaks, all swimmers and a polo player this year. And I'm here to just support Ms. Lauren Stanton and discuss the progress we've made in fundraising for our new aquatic scoreboard. As you know, after meeting with our district representatives and our school administration at Whitney High School, we were informed that replacing non-working units would fall on the aquatics program themselves and ultimately to the parents who support their children's activities. We launched a very successful fundraising drive during our water polo season, raising over $10,000 by asking parents, friends, and families to donations to replace the scoring system. We've also gathered support from our community. Like Lauren said, we've secured $10,000 from the Nugget Market and are hoping to have the same success with Placer Valley Tourism. I'm here tonight to just inform you of our progress and ask for your support financially, hopefully, maybe with some permitting and things like that, as we pursue additional funds to ensure our aquatics program have all the equipment we need to continue to pursue excellence in the pool.
Thank you so much. I know we have a facilities meeting and we have you guys on the agenda that Trustee Sadoff and I sit on, so we'll be hearing from you again on the 31st. We're looking forward to your presentation, so thank you. Last but not least, we have Matilda Urif with our last public comment.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sofia Nicolaescu, and I'm currently a junior at Bella Vista High School, and I'm also a policy director for the California Association of Student Councils.
Hello, my name is Matilda Urif. I'm a student at Whitney High School.
We're here to present a project that we've been working on in my school district and hopefully can expand it also to the Rocklin Unified School District. It's based off of our superintendent's advisory board. It's a council of students that meets once a month with the superintendent to present some proposals on mental health, diversity, and also other projects in the districts that are going on.
There's an ongoing lack of student representation in our school district. Student roles are often limited to school-level leadership positions with limited effect on school policy. Many ambitious students want to make an impact on their school, but they have no clear channel to have their voice heard. With Rocklin Unified School District putting a heavy emphasis on student voice, it is not representational to have the only form of student voice be through ASB presidents. Rocklin USD's current lack of student representation doesn't allow students to be addressed on a larger district scale.
So this superintendent advisory board would follow the structure that's already happening in my district. It's a council of about 10 or 11 students that meet once a month with the superintendent, and they're working on multiple solutions for things like athletic programs. And last year they were actually able to implement a whole new dress code just by getting student feedback from around the district. Having some kind of student representation inside these board meetings, especially expanded, would be really helpful for getting ambitious kids who want more of a say in their district some place to put it. So we hope that you'll consider our proposal to create this new board. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good job, you guys. Okay, our last agenda item is pending agenda. Do any of my colleagues have any items to discuss for further consideration to put on the pending agenda?
I have an item I'd like to request that we look at maybe bringing back to the board. I know looking at our second interim, we have some unassigned dollars, specifically looking at our reserves, hearing some facility needs tonight. And I think we've all heard over the last several weeks and months facility concerns throughout our district. I'd love to see us look at the possibility of revisiting those needs and looking at how quickly we can allocate some dollars to meet some of those needs. Is that a formal agenda item I could bring if somebody would be willing to second?
I'm willing to second.
So trustees, just to clarify, so we can at the April 2nd meeting bring an information item that would just outline some of the information that was shared tonight on our second interim and reserve, and then give the board an opportunity to discuss, is outlined, potentially allocating some dollars for one-time facility needs.
That works for me. Would that work for you?
Great. Superintendent Stock, can I second that?
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, just want to be sure. There's a request to place, do we need to title it? Just second interim information item on reserve.
Yeah, I think it just off the top of my head, I think we would bring an information item to allow the board to discuss, ask questions, ask for additional information, and we'll title it something around one-time facility needs or something like that. But it allows us the board to look at the financial situation and then discuss potential needs that they are aware of, such as shared tonight.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much. That is it. Our meeting is now adjourned.